The world doesn't revolve around results. End quote. It's a good phrase, but it's definitely not accurate. I think a better phrase would be, the world doesn't always revolve around results. I think that's a better line and a better statement than anything else because it has a lot more weight to it. Because at the end of the day, results, they do matter. Not always, but they do matter. I mean, sometimes depending on the action someone takes to get said results, that usually people don't care about the results. I mean, if you do some slimy, crusty stuff. And, you know, the opposite could be true. So what I'm getting at is that line, even though it's a good line, I don't think it's entirely accurate. Because I've seen many cases to where someone achieves the results they wanted, but it didn't work out. Or someone didn't get the results they wanted, but everything did work out. And vice versa. It always happens. So I just feel like that phrase, it's not accurate, and it should definitely be changed. But anyways, though, this episode of March Comes In Like a Lion. It's nice to finally focus back on Rei once again. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the sisters and all that. I like, you know, Hina and all of them, Akari, I like them. They're great characters, they're great pillars for Rei's character development, for him to change. I love them. They're fascinating characters. But I'm glad to finally see the overall story start focusing back on Rei in his shogi career. Because it's been a while since we actually seen that focus. And I think we're probably going to start seeing some major character development for Rei very soon because of all the recent events from Season 2 of March Comes In Like a Lion. So let's kind of go over that. And let's explain why he's going to be doing some shifts. So number one, let's go back to the previous arc. With the whole Hina stuff, the bullying arc. Hina, when she was in, you know, depression, she was getting, you know, really sad and upset and all that, and the bullies were slowly just wearing her down. If we remember, Rei finally started to show motivation. He started to have motivation for shogi. He started wanting to win. He started wanting money. He started wanting to constantly go at it and try to get better before he could help out Hina. He was doing a very selfless thing. He was wanting to help out the people around him. And it finally showcased that, you know, Rei was changing. He's starting to take shogi a little bit more seriously, because one of the big things about his character, since we've seen him since the very beginning, is that he had shogi as a life raft. That was basically it. It was the only thing he held on to. It's the only thing that kept him afloat throughout his life. It was the only thing that allowed him to have some form of relationship with his foster father. It was the only thing that allowed him to have a little bit of a circle and all that of people that he could talk to. It was the only thing that he could hold on to kind of make it to where he felt somewhat normal. And ever since then, we never really seen him actually strive to become the best. You might assume that could be the objective, but even then, though, he's never downright stated he wanted to be a good shogi player, he wanted to be on top, he wanted to be better than Soya. That was never stated at all. And, I mean, that eventually could turn out to be the goal, but from what we see from his character, he has never stated that, and for good reason, because he never really had any motivation to do it. And when Hina finally went through that trouble, you know, he started to try to help her out. He tried to help her out, he got motivated, but now that that arc of the series is done, Hina is no longer being bullied, and she doesn't really need help now, or financial help. His motivation to get better at shogi and to continuously win is gone. And I feel like this is going to lead to major changes in Rei's character, because now I think he's going to seek his next motivation for him to strive to be a better shogi player, because it's very obvious. After watching Rei's character for a long time, he cares about shogi. He does. Regardless of it being a life raft or not, he obviously likes shogi a lot. He loves it. He has passion for it. For him to spend so much time and effort on it, you have to have passion for something if you're going to spend that much time on it. That's just how it is. And so, it's obvious he cares about shogi. He loves shogi. He wants to get better at shogi. He doesn't even need to say this for us to be fully aware of that. However, he still lacks that drive. That drive to go to the top. He lacks that drive to win. He lacks that drive to continue on improving. And I feel like he's going to find it very soon. Something tells me he's going to find that drive to improve and be a better shogi player, because of the way this arc is playing out. Because when you look at everything in this episode, he is a young kid that obviously is being built up to one day surpass Soya. That's what it looks like. I mean, an outsider's perspective, such as myself, we could all see that he's definitely being built up for that. Because one of these days, Soya, he's gonna fall. Everybody does. Just how easy a pillar can be built or how hard it can be built, one day, that pillar will crumble down. That's just how it is. Symbols, ideals, and pillars, people, they crumble down one day. That's just how it is. That's how life works. It's sad, but it's true. And in this case, the Shogi Hall and all that, the people that actually control Shogi, they are looking at Rei as the next person to carry the mantle of their organization. And that's what's happening here. They're trying to build him up to eventually surpass Soya, for people can recognize Rei and understand who he is. And that's what's going on here. And in a certain part of this episode, when you see Rei looking over everything he's got to do, he's looking how he's got to talk to, you know, reporters, he's got to do signings and all these different little things here and there, he felt boulders hit on top of his head, which was symbolism for the weight he now carries. Because with him going out in public and all that and talking to people, he's basically not just carrying his own weight, his own personal stuff within him, he's carrying the weight of the entire Shogi organization, which showcases that he was not really aware of what many of these top people of Shogi were doing all the time. For instance, Soya or Shimada, you know, and even Nikaido, he was fully aware of how it must feel to be near the top. And now Rei is starting to get a taste of that. He's starting to get a taste of what it feels like to be near the top and having all of these responsibilities, because we had a very real first half, or I guess first 7 minutes of this episode, and it was scary real, because it's really how society works, and not many people really take a moment to actually realize that. At the beginning, we get to see a poster on a wall, and the poster represents Soya and Rei in their upcoming Shogi match. Now, when you look at it, you're like, that's a really cool poster. Like, yo, like, if I was, you know, passing on the street, even if I didn't have interest in, like, Shogi, seeing something like that, that would look really cool. It would catch my attention, and I might want to tune in and watch it or something. That'd be personally me. And I'd be like, you know what, that's cool. But then you look to the right, and you see these two old guys with this weird poster, and you're like, I don't want to see that. They just look like old fogies and all that. Like, why would I want to watch that? And it's a very sad depiction, but that's exactly how life works. There's many, many real examples right there with those two posters. Number one, advertisement. Advertisement has always been a big thing. Not just in, I guess, Shogi, but any type of business-wise and company, advertisement is very important, and posters and all of that is. And when you see the difference between Rei and Soya's poster compared to our two old men, you're like, obviously we know who is getting more attention, who is getting more spotlight, but it makes a lot of sense too. With the passing of time, people age, and with people age, eventually they don't probably light and spark that fire like they once did to many individuals. That's just how it is. And so maybe that was a real depiction showcasing that at one point in time, those two individuals, they would have probably, you know, sparked a fire in everybody's hearts wanting to come watch their, you know, Shogi match. But now, since they've grown a lot older and all that, there's no point. And so they need to move on to the next generation. And it's a very sad depiction of what happens to people in real life. Then, going a step further, we also talk about the sponsors. We got to see that the only reason why Rei and Soya is getting so much spotlight is thanks to sponsors. They're able to draw in more sponsors because of how they look and all of that. And it's also a very depressing and harsh reality of how life works. That's just how it is. And sometimes if you can't draw in sponsors, you're not going to be able to beat the other person. And there you go. That's what happens. So I do feel like this episode is a very real take on Shogi, or how a lot of businesses operate, and just how people with old age, how they just tend to not be what they once were, and it's time for the next generation to step forth. And that's basically what's going on with Rei. He's being set up to be the next Soya, and then someone will eventually replace him, and so forth, so on. That's basically what's going on. So I like that. I like that message. It's really, really deep in a way, when you really think about it, and I like that. So, yeah, that's the episode of March Comes In Like a Lion. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How'd you feel about this week's episode? How do you feel about everything that happened? How do you feel about Rei's character? How do you feel about, you know, Soya? be honest in the comments below. Do you think Ray's going to make a discovery, a self-discovery, and, find a reason to continue improving and, be near the top? Be honest in the comments below. I love you guys. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like, and if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below next to the subscribe button. And if there is some reason you're not getting notifications and you have clicked the bell icon already, unclick it and click it again. That should fix it. And if it does fix it, also do this for the other YouTubers out there that you currently watch, because it will help them out a lot, because I know how it feels if, people don't get notified and all that. I just know how that feeling is. So, at the very least, do it for other YouTubers as well that you do care about. It will help them out. So, I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Stay safe, stay healthy, and, I hope you guys have many great days and nights ahead of you. Please be safe. Chibi out.